Okay, let's do this. You are right, and I thought the exact same thing. Again, we didn't converse this or anything, but traditionally those are the defenses the teams have employed most frequently. So I'm starting on defensive end. One of my defensive ends is going to be Haloti Nada, one of my favorite guys. He's just so quiet, but so disruptive. He was always such a presence on stuffing the run, but also getting penetration from the D tackle, D end, kind of shifted around the line a bunch. So I had to put him in there. On the other side of him, on our D end, I went with fan favorite Jarrett Johnson. And I think some of these, I mean, I said offense was a little tough to do. There was a lot of really tough defensive ones. I could have went Adalius Thomas there. I could have went Michael McCrary. I went with Jarrett Johnson, fan favorite. He was still very productive for his 9 years. Chris has thrown his arms up like he has no clue who this is.
No idea.
Just a guy who really set the edge really well, played exactly what we expect. Most of the time he played outside linebacker, but I kind of cheated a little bit on this one because I wanted to include him in there.
Sorry to interrupt you really quick. If you had included a guy like Adalius Thomas, I don't know a lot about Adalius Thomas, but that's a name I know. But like Jared Johnson, the generic, like, I'm going to just throw this guy in. Like Jared from Subway is on the starting defense.
Yeah. Like I probably, in all honesty, I probably should have picked Adalius Thomas or Michael McCrary. He had seasons of like 14.5, 11.5 sacks from the edge. Adalius Thomas, Jarrett Johnson, they kind of went back and forth. And it kind of gets blurred a little bit on what they play because of that 3-4 and whatever defensive coordinators with them. Like, how are you employing them? Are they starting off the line? Are they doing like a more Terrell Suggs approach where he's like standing on the line and he's basically like a glorified extra edge rusher?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's who I picked there. In the middle, this one was tough for me. I'm a huge Brandon Williams fan. I think he's hilarious. He's funny. He's productive. But I went with the Goose, Tony Siragusa, a big part of that 2000s Ravens team that won the Super Bowl. Again, just really disruptive from that nose tackle position, stuffed the run really well. I went with the Goose. Now, linebackers, I had a little easier of choices here. Outside linebacker, I picked Terrell Suggs, iconic Hall of Fame. He's going to be in the Hall soon. Just everything you want in a player. Beside him, middle linebacker Ray Lewis, the greatest middle linebacker to ever play the game. That includes Bobby Wagner when he's done.
You're not going to hear an argument from me. I mean,
yeah.
All respect for Ray. Bobby's great, but I think I was talking to one of the guys on Twitter from a Seahawks fan, and I was like, he brought up Bobby versus Ray. I think this is when we were talking about Bobby versus Ed Reed, was it? Or Bobby versus Marlowe? Yeah. He brought up Bobby versus Ray, and I'm like, it's not even a conversation. Like, I love Bobby, but it's Ray.
Yeah. Look, Bobby could, if he played for another, 10 years?
Yeah, right.
He has a long way to go, and it's not even fathomable at this point.
And that's the thing, is like, as good as Bobby has been, he has never dominated the game the way that Ray did.
Yeah, especially those early years, man. Like,
that's what I mean. Like, Ray in his prime, Bobby in his, like, it's just, again, Bobby's great, love Bobby, but yeah, like you said, Ray is one of the greatest of all time.
And then the other middle linebacker, this is where I had a little trouble. I think for me anyways, it was between Bart Scott and CJ Mosley. part of me didn't want to pick Mosley because he was only there for 5 years. But in those 5 years, he went to 4 Pro Bowls. He had years of almost 100 tackles every single year. He had 1 year where he missed a couple games and had 92, but he had 133, 132 combined tackles. Like, he was just a machine in the middle. He was a former Alabama player, so that one I liked a little more. So I went with CJ Mosley for my other middle linebacker. And then my other outside linebacker, I went with Peter Boulware. Yeah. And so another big part of that early 2000s Ravens Super Bowl team. He was just so productive off the edge. He played the left side. He played the right side at the end of his career. He had 3 years of double-digit sacks. Highest was 15, 70 total sacks in his career in Baltimore. So I picked Peter Boulware. Corner is where I had the toughest time with it. I did pick Marlon Humphrey. I've talked about Marlo enough. I think he's done enough in a short enough career, and his trajectory, kind of how you picked DK Metcalf last week. I'm picking Marlo as one of my corners, and the other corner, this is where it was tough. I had Ladarius Webb, Jimmy Smith, Dwayne Starks. I got to mention Deion Sanders in there, even though he played towards the tail end of his time. But I went with Chris McAllister. And this was a guy who, again, had some seasons on the right, mostly on the left side. Was just, had seasons of 5 interceptions, 4, 6, 3. Like, he got his hands on balls. He did what? Yeah. He was a good tackler on the outside as well. So I went with Chris McAllister. He had his hands on balls. Free safety, not even a question. The greatest free safety to ever play the game, Ed Reed, my favorite player. The most fun player I've ever watched in my entire career, including Ray. I enjoyed watching Ed more than Ray. And then for my strong safety, it was a little tough. And I don't want to say this because he played with Pittsburgh for 10 years, but he came over to Baltimore for 4 years. He helped us win a Super Bowl. In his 4 years with Baltimore, he was a Pro Bowler 3 times. I picked Rod Woodson. He came there. When he came to Baltimore, he was 33 years old, and he still put up 3 seasons as a Pro Bowler. Then when he went to Oakland, he was actually a Pro Bowler and an All-Pro that year. 37 years old. Rod Woodson, just a difference maker in all aspects of it. From the strong safety position, he had a season with 7 interceptions. Like, just so exciting to watch. You got to watch him and Deion together. Was kind of fun. So that's my all 11 team. Who do you have, Chris?
Haloti Ngata. I didn't realize he was a D end. I thought he was strictly a D tackle.
No.
So that one kind of threw me for a bit of a loop. And I guess talking about your guy, your favorite player, your boy, number 20, Ed Reed.
Yeah.
Have you ordered that jersey yet?
No, I haven't.
Dude, come on.
You are nobody to talk about ordering jerseys yet.
But I have mine.
Yeah, now you do.